This summer, we were invited by Philippine Airlines to experience their business class flight from Manila to Sydney. After checking in, we waited for our flight at the Mabuhay Lounge. Before we knew it, it was time to board. Our comfy, spacious seats for the next 8 hours.
Flight details or flight time is
Once again, please remain seated with your seatbelt securely fastened until the seatbelt.
Here's our hotel for the next 3 nights. Also, how cool is our hotel room? It's right at the harbour. We actually weren't expecting to visit Australia so soon, but after Philippine Airlines invited us to try their flight from Manila to Sydney, we had to say yes.
Thanks Philippine Airlines for not only sponsoring our flight, but our hotel and all the avocado toast we'll have today.
Amazing view of the Sydney Harbour, right outside our hotel.
That's a test menu. How much is that? 230.
Super good. It's a signature here. It's called White Rabbit.
With fresh lemonade out there.
soft and crunchy at the same time. Pretty good. Lots of fried bits.
Huge Indonesian style fried barramundi. This looks crazy. Try that. Whoa. Crunchy. Starting our Saturday morning in Sydney at the Carriageworks market. It looks crazy. I wasn't expecting it to be so big.
I'm going to take my car, and Susie's going to take her car.
This is a fried barramundi topped with whipped butter and butarka, freshly shaved. Let's try this. Oh, the fish itself is so buttery soft. Wow.
We would normally eat that day.
Okay.
But this is the ventures section of Oz Harvest.
Lining up for AP Bakery, which I think is by far the most recommended Sydney spot at this market. This is their pizza with anchovies and stracciatella. So beautiful, especially in the sun.
That's nice.
This is such a pretty street.
I've got some cutlery.
found out about this place on Instagram. They sell chicken salt donuts, which is kind of unusual. Let's try this. I love how crisp it is on the outside and then so soft and doughy on the inside. It's almost like a focaccia, like a really nice, savory, salty focaccia.
The first one is the rhythm, cold brew, and we top it up with signature cream.
Okay.
Yeah, it goes fast. This is our homemade cookie.
Thank you.
In-house.
Thank you so much. We were so shocked when the barista said hi to us. He's from Indonesia and he's a viewer and he gave us a cookie.
There you go. And small flower. Yeah, good. Terima kasih.
Thank you, thank you.
See you soon.
Yeah,
See you
see you.
soon, bro. Take care, take care. See ya.
Thanks, Roy.
Right, this is crazy. Straight up rolling on the floor, crazy.
Last stop on our Sydney brunch tour is this Filipino coffee shop called Adhika. We got the Hamon Bulaqueña brekkie roll, Byron Bay pork neck amanado, egg, barbecue sauce, and seasonal greens.
Shanghai-based brand.
Oh, cool.
We've done everything in-house. So fabric, hardware, everything is done by hand as well. Very artisanal. We call it the burn white technique.
Yeah.
So they will burn the silver to a certain temperature.
In the flesh.
Yo.